because we used to sell a lot of Joshua Days kits, and as long as the kid can kind of like piece these things together for you and really engage you, you know. So that's the important part.
Yeah. Did you did you experience anything similar to that where it was like you kind of knew all of these magic tricks and but there was no like I do SpongeBob's and I do coin stuff and I do this, but there was no really like
dude, I couldn't even walk straight when I was fucking 17, dude. I
yeah,
couldn't do nothing. I couldn't, bro, like I seeing myself as a magician back when I was 17, back in like that Bentley DVD, I'm like I look at myself and I'm like, oh my God, that's me.
So it's to prepare for this. So it's funny to prepare for this. I went back
9
and watched
years ago, you know.
Yeah, but even then, it's like a completely different. You as a magician have grown so much since then. Like the caliber you're at now is completely, in my perspective, is completely different.
Oh yeah, dude, and that's just a part of the process. You know, it's just gonna happen for anybody. I know I was not a good performer when I was within my first 5 years of magic. I know that you just grow, you know, and that's just it. You just gotta put time into it. That's all it is. It doesn't matter who you are. You put time into something, you become something. You know.
Pretty much.
Exactly, dude. You carry this energy about it, and you put it into your work, and you put your passion, and your soul, and everything.
Which is a great point. Because I mean, with like card magic, for me, going back into that whole conversation of like, you know, COVID happened, I'm not performing, I'm not doing anything, and I think rightfully so. I think I'm probably not going to perform except for like some other buddies in my inner circle and things like that. Like I have no problem with that. I'll show some friends or whatever, family.
Well, one day we'll get back out there.
Yeah, one day, but I don't mind performing for people, but I'm not going to, that's not going to be the main part of my career. What I'm doing right now with like the podcast and the Discord and
I gotta say, that speaks a lot to like, there's so many things you can do in magic. There is literally, dude, if you're a magician, you don't have to be that guy doing gigs all the time. You do not. You can be a magic marketer, you can be a magic consultant, you can be a magic creator. You can do so much. You can film for magic. And this is a point made by my boy, Dalton Wayne. Shout out Dalton Wayne. And it's just like a really like, you know, there's so many things you can do. Like there's just, it's not just one bubble. And this podcast is gonna help. And, you know, I really think it's pushing forward, man. So pushing magic forward. So thank you so much.
I mean, it's my contribution, because I mean, that was the biggest thing, is like going through my personal career of magic. I played with coin stuff. I can do, you know, coin rolls and things like that. I don't do it because that's not my thing. Cards is naturally where I'm called to, you know. Like I said, I've been around it my entire life. A deck of cards has been in my house all 28 years of my life. Whether it have been like my kids have it or like something, and then eventually I end up coming around to it and just, you know, picking it up and doing whatever with it.
The pasteboard is in your blood.
Yeah, seriously. So then I'm curious to know though, like, did you have an experience? So how old were you when you came into like, when was your official, like, did you like
9 or 10, probably 9, like late when I was like 9, probably 9.
Yeah, and you performed for like family members and stuff like that and friends, or?
Yeah, when I was like 10,
you kind of kept it to yourself?
When I was like 10, I think I remember the first time I like performed for people. I think it was like my sister was doing some sort of like and this is, wow, I haven't thought about this in years. First time I performed for people was I learned like the two card transpo when I started to do it, like to people. My sister's high school,
or just like, was this your card? No,
it was just it changes. Ultimate two. This is from Border to Perform card.
Yeah. Oh, I know. Okay, then I know exactly what you're talking about.
Exactly. Yeah. So the one with the dupe, and then you know, you just make them switch, and so like people were still like, oh my God, it's a little kid. Like fucking 10s. They didn't understand what they meant by this, but you know, it's great. You know, it's man, like. I can't express to you the weirdness of being a magician, having a full-time job as a magician. It's such a blessing, and and being a consultant and looking at so much magic a day. I think that's again. I didn't point this out, but I meant to. I think that's sorry. again, it's a part of the creativity.
Yeah.
Seeing a bunch of magic, looking at all of these other different creations, kind of like it focuses you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And once you get focused, you don't exactly, you have this conception of what's already been made, right?
Yeah.
So you're now thinking about, okay, this thing is cool, how can I make this better, how can I make this better? This wasn't made, so this now constricts what you can create, you know?
Right. No, that makes complete sense.
Yeah.
And that's really interesting, because for me, I mean, that's exactly the space I was in. I mean, I was over here, you know, those who were in my inner circle, you being one of them. I was in the beginning of COVID, I was like on a very intense, like I had decided in the beginning, like I'm probably not going to perform anytime soon, and I'm okay with that, but I need to figure out like an alternative. And then before COVID, I had, what I joke around about is like I came out to everybody and I was just like, I'm a magician. I do card magic and I want to let the world know, type of deal. And this is what I'm going to do for a career. And I think we, as magicians, we all kind of have that moment. A few people like in my family still don't really know, which is fine. But for the most part, everybody kind of knows. So, so for me, it was like, I know I'm not going to perform. I need to figure something else out. And I had been going hard in like books. Like I bought collections, like very expensive collections of old books and Marlowe stuff. And I had stopped since then. Like now I'll buy a piece here and there. But the last collection I bought was, you know, almost a full Marlowe collection of magazines and things like that, which was, you know, those are hard to find.
Okay, Zaddy.
So, yeah, right. So for me, it was like, I know it's important to me to have a wealth of knowledge in card magic and also be able to execute it, to pass it on, teach it, show it, you know, keep it to myself, create a strong foundation. Because that was something I was lacking in the beginning anyways. You know, O's Perlman only can take you so far until like, you know, you got to go out there and find
you gotta find the giants that the shoulders of the giants that we sit on.
Yeah.
When you do search for these things, you start to sit on these shoulders of the giants and you listen to what they're saying. And you're like, yes. And it's all of these men who are now dead, but man, they you can just feel what they were thinking. Like I'm reading
Revolutionary Card
Technique, exactly. Revolutionary Card Technique,
and it's bigger than the Bible. So I mean, like that is my Bible per se.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what's wild? Like you can you're like, man, like all these people are genius, and they can. You're reading it and you can't see them, but you do it for yourself, and it feels more of like a accomplishment because you've read it, because you've pieced it together. And, you know.
So going into like trying to figure out, like realizing like, oh, I'm not gonna, you know, perform or whatever. So for me, it was trying to figure out like what, and then I started to like, what's my contribution to the world of magic? Like, great, cool, you know how to do card magic, great. So like, let's share it with everybody. So then I started to play, like a blog, you know, like, you know, the Jerks or something like that. And I was like, as much as I love writing, that's not my thing. I can't keep up with it. I had a blog before.
Say the Jerks is amazing. I don't necessarily read it. I don't read it. I really need to. I'm lacking on that. But everything I've heard from friends about the Jerks, everything is always like, what the fuck? That is amazing.
Yeah, it's always on the up and up. I mean, it's all good. It's all the posts, everything. So I didn't want to write like that. You know, I don't have that. I love writing, right? I can teach my routines via lecture notes or what have you. So then I was like, I had a blog for horror movie reviews, and that worked, but like nobody was really into blogs. It's not a thing. So the modern version of that was a podcast. So I had two other podcasts.
2020, dude. Let's do a
podcast.
Yeah,
I was like, no one's gonna sit there and like scroll through and read blogs.
Right.
So then a podcast. I had two other podcasts before this one, and I decided I was like, card magic podcast. It just makes sense, you know. So here we are. But you know, for me, that's my contribution. I wanted to foster a community that was on the back end of the magic, like, of Magic rather than what's out there right now, where everybody's talking to each other about plugging stuff and things like that. It's great, it has its place, but for me it's like I want that secretive, like, unless you know about it, you know about it type of thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Which is like the Jerks. The Jerks is that way, and I didn't know about the Jerks until someone's like, hey, you should check this out, here's the link, and I watched, whatever's on there, watched it, read it, whatever, and I was like, wow, nobody knows about this. And then you can buy secret stuff and subscribe here and this and that, and
that's awesome, because it makes you feel, it makes at least the buyer feel like, oh, I'm in on something that's secret, and we're a part of the society, and that's what's awesome, man. I mean, I think card Magic definitely needs that, like specifically card Magic. Like I know this is more for like just normal type cards, card Magic.
But I mean,
straight up like
all card
move monkey. Just to work,
Yeah. I mean, I think it's interesting because it's like when I started it, I wanted to try to figure out like, is it going to be pure sleight of hand and this and that, and then obviously I became like pure, like, this is the way card Magic is supposed to go type of thing. But at the end of the day, the big influence for me is like these old forums and blogs and get-togethers that used to take place that was secretive. You didn't know about it unless it was invite only. So
right.
For me, it's like, obviously we have the Discord, and the Discord has its place, and you're in there. And if you'd like to join, if you're listening, if you want to listen, it'll be in the shout notes.
Reach out, join our Discord. It'll be crazy.
Shout out to the Discord. Shout out to everyone in there.
Shout out to everybody in there. Hell yeah.
But it's interesting to talk to other magicians who, like you're in the magic industry differently, and like you said, there's so many different things that you can do in the magic world.
Like my job is to review magic all day, and also I do customer service and about packages and answer questions about magic tricks that we release. But
so if you want to set it off, if you're not happy with your package, hit up my boy Chris.
Hit me out, dude. But for real, like if you would like to review, have a trick out there on the market, please send it to us, the partner program. If you can publish your own trick or produce your own trick, we will publish it. And through our partner program, I'll review it and I'll see if it's original or not, and see if everything's good, and you'll get launched. So it's a really fun experience, being able to have a product out there. So if you guys have a routine that you just want to make real quick and put it out there, then by all means.
It's interesting because you with your job, from what you've shared with me, is that you also are exposed to a wealth of magicians and tricks and effects and things like that, which obviously we're not going to talk about, but some of the stuff that, like, I would assume goes through there, stuff that either is a redo or maybe not so original, or it is original. It's the first time you're seeing it.
And that's fine. I mean, we do get that, and that's okay. That's still creativity. It's not going to knock their creativity. I appreciate every submission that we get.
Yeah. So it's almost like you're in the future, because you kind of get an idea of where magicians are, what they're thinking, and where their heads are at. Because I would think if you're going to release a product, it's going to be influential to the magic industry on the market end of things. Right. So
and if we're gonna release a product from our production standpoint, like if P.2 is going to release something, then yes, so we think it's at a very high caliber. But we do want to push magic forward, and I always do think about that when I'm reviewing these tricks. And then also I'm enthralled because there are so many smart people, so many smart magicians that are just so unheard of. A couple tricks that come off mine: framing the queen, penguin magic, one of the best releases we've gotten from the partner program. So simple, so direct, so impossible. Also, there's a nice, I feel so bad because I don't remember the name of the project, but there's a Bill at Peking project that's amazing. And there's a lot of great moves and gimmicks and stuff. People just, endless creativity, and it just, like, it inspires me, and it makes me happy to see that people are on a constant wanting to put out their tricks. So.
Do you have any, like, old school magicians, specifically like card stuff that you like? Because I know like for a while you were showing me Frank Garcia, like one or two Garcia.
Frank Garcia is a big one. Of course, Vernon, of course. David Williamson, 100%. I love David Williamson. Everything he touches is gold. Everything he touches is gold. He can
the
balance.
Top change. Let's talk about that for a second. Like I saw someone try to execute it, and I was like, "Ooh, not so much." But
exactly.
But only in David Williamson's hands does it look so like, oh, what's that over there?
But it's subconscious though. He doesn't do those tricks like on a conscious level.
Yeah.
See, his sleight of hand, he doesn't even think about it because he's already put in the work.
Yeah.
And now he's funny because he's already put in the work. So the magic part looks great, but is also trying to entertain you with his personality and who he is. So he doesn't need to even not practice, but he doesn't even need to think about the magic because it's his blood, it's inert.
Right.
So like the way he performs is this amazing balance of this funny character and also this amazing magician, which is everything I want to be. I can't. I mean, not exactly like him, obviously, but it's I want to have the essence of a good sleight of hand artist and a creative magician, but then also a magician who can perform to people and make you laugh and make you engaged and captivate you instantly. And that's what David Williamson can do. And there's not a lot of people who can do that as accurately as David Williamson.
Yeah. And I mean, the interesting thing too, like, is when he's performing, his timing is so good that he can read people so well, I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
To when he does the top change. Like he'll probably wait there for a second and then execute it, Like he just knows. And I'm sure it's a challenge for him that like when to do the top change, especially for magicians, like, when will you do it? Like we know you're about to do a top change and he just does it and you still can't see it. So it's still like, yeah. I mean, so being exposed to all this stuff on Penguin, does it change your thinking, creativity? Like,
oh yeah. Because I mean, I think that's one of the things.
So,
being at Penguin and because I've spent, and I'm blessed to be able to work from home and be able to help all these magicians,
right?
And be able to review all these effects. I'm blessed. It's a blessing. I'm so happy that I have it. Especially at a time right now where magicians are far and few in gigs and this and that and the other.
Time.
Yeah, exactly, man. And it's a blessing, and I'm so happy. But thinking about magic, it's like I don't want to say it's so much. It's so much. It's almost overwhelming. Because I have access to all of this information and all of this wealth of knowledge, and I, let the magic trickle, and I watch it and I constantly learn, but I have to pace myself because it's overwhelming sometimes. It's like a kid with $100 in a candy shop. He doesn't know. He doesn't know what he should do. It's a blessing.
Do you ever get discouraged? Like, do you ever feel like it's too much magic, I need to step out for a second? And
I get discouraged when not when I see too much magic, but more so when I am like, how do I explain this? I get discouraged when I have an idea.
Yeah.
And I want to move to another idea, but I'm so stuck on this idea, know?
I mean, that's why
that's really the only thing right now that discourages me.
Yeah.
And because of the group chats that we've been doing, that we've been in, that really, it helps out a lot because I know that the position I'm in can help a lot of people.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
It can really make someone's at least someone's in that moment, someone think about something, It because I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't want to sound too egotistical in this,
No, I don't think you. I mean, I know where you're going with it, but yeah.
If I can inspire someone, or if I can create something that someone will do, or if I can, if I can give an idea to someone, or if I can like kind of jam on an idea with someone, then I don't think I'm necessarily discouraged in magic. You know, the only time I can see myself being in that mindset is when I'm like making something and it's just not happening. You know, when it's just like, this is a good idea, but it's just like almost there. And I have this one trick that's like that, and it's just getting my nerves.
Yeah. Do you so?
Oh, actually, another thing that's discouraging. When in doing Instagram lives.
Yeah. So we'll segue into that in a second. But I'm curious to know, like, so when you're creating, so you do the dice thing, when you're dealing with cards specifically, is it more difficult for you to create with cards than it is with any other object? Because
more recently, no. More recently,
there's 52. There's 52 options.
There's 52 options. Exactly. You can do anything with cards. There's so much. Cards are literally it's a endless pool. It's a black abyss of creativity. There's no end to it. Exactly. But like, and most things are not under the sun, not 100% original. There's always something that's similar,
of course,
you know?
Of course.
But like I mean, recently, it's been more card magic I've been creating, and like more card moves and more abstract ideas.
Yeah.
But usually I've had difficulty with making card magic, you know, because there's so much out there, and I didn't have I didn't really have a maybe a need to make card magic, because I was already doing so much good card magic and performing it, and I don't know what it was.
Yeah. Do you have, so like what's your process on like when you're doing a card effect or routine? Because I've seen you do your card under box, which when you showed it to me fools me every time. It's so good. But like, what do you have now? I guess we can term it as COVID times, when you're creating and you are an extrovert. Do you find your creative process to be more difficult because?
Oh, it's way easier because I have more time to myself to think about things, you know.
Interesting.
Otherwise, I mean, obviously, even when I'm working, because I'm always thinking about magic. Like I'm always like, when I'm working, I'm seeing magic, so I'm like, oh, this idea will pop in my head, and then I think about it. I'm like, this is a part of my job. I've had 2 releases in the magic community. I'm about to have many more, and I'm about to, I can't talk about much, but I'm about to have a lot coming.
We've talked
soon.
about it off recording. So
there's a lot of cool stuff coming. But a part of my job is to review good magic, and if I have a good trick, I'm it's 2 and 2, you know.
Yeah. How old were you? So I'll ask my question. How old were you when what came first, Bentley or Together?
Bentley can do it. Bentley came first.
Bentley came first. Okay. So how old were you when Bentley came out?
I was 17, dude. I made it when I was 16. I was 17 when it came out.
And crazy, Together came out.
Yeah. Together came out when I was literally turning 21. We filmed it on my 21st birthday.
And how old are you now?
I'm 25. Well, 25 this coming October.
So not too long ago, Together came out.
Yeah, it didn't come out too long ago, but
it's so good.
That was so fun. I honestly, I can't wait. The P.2 Studios is so awesome.
Yeah.
Everyone at Penguin is amazing.
Yeah.
I'm blessed to be with a fucking amazing
I like
company.
Penguin. I've been shopping with Penguin since I was like, we've talked about this.
Yeah, dude. No, but the thing is, the
longest time.
Name a magician who doesn't know about Penguin.
Yeah, exactly.
That's my thing.
Exactly.
Like,
I was buying Penguin. My first, one of my first effects was, I think, not the stealth pen, but it was the card through the pen through dollar bill.
Oh yeah,
and it came
yes,
with these
yes.
horrible like pens or whatever. And anyway, so it came with the instructions and balloons. They used to put balloons in their packages. I don't know if you knew that or remember that.
That must have been real early.
Yeah, but it was like, and so every time I ordered something, I'd have a whole thing of balloons, like penguin, blow it up, and it would say Penguin Magic with the penguin on it and stuff.
Oh
Yeah,
wow, that's sick,
yeah.
dude. Yeah, we do the extra, man.
Too bad Daniel Garcia didn't release what is it, Pressure?
Pressure at that
You
time,
could
yeah,
you
man.
have two tricks in one if that was the case.
Exactly, exactly. Dude, Pressure's great, man. I remember when that
Um,
first came out. That shook me. I was like, what?
yeah. Turn the camera on, put it the phone
So
in the
good.
balloon is like, yeah, so good,
When
right?
Amar did that, on I think Letterman. Yeah, he did that on
Oh, did
Letterman.
he?
It
I didn't
was,
know that.
yeah, he did. It went perfectly.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It's so good. So we've been trying to get to a conversation about Instagram for like the
Oh
longest
yeah,
time.
let's have a conversation about that. Big
Yeah.
boy.
What do you
So
being sitting where you are now, like based on like the path that it took since now?
yeah.
What are your thoughts on Instagram magic?
So honestly, I love it because you can perform for random people around
Yeah.
the world and you have no
Yeah.
idea. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, dude, there is a sense of this egotism, like where you're just gaining followers.
Yeah.
And honestly, followers can get you money, but at the same time, it's just mostly going to get you ego.
Yeah.
Like that's all it's going to do.
It's
In that kind of space,
yeah.
in that kind of space. Rather,
Yeah.
I mean, you can gain a following and still,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
as humble as possible. But
Yeah.
like when you, I don't know, I've just seen so much tea spilled
Yeah.
within
I mean,
the Instagram live magic community. I'm just
yeah.
so done with it, and I'm
Yeah.
just so like it's just
We
so beyond me.
Yeah, it would. Chris and I, who have friends who would go live, there had been some very negative incidents with Instagram Live and things like that, which to me is crazy that those situations even take place.
And it's more than one situation. It's like multiple situations, and I don't want to speak on anybody's name,
people
but
are
like,
mean. Like people were like straight up like, and so for me, I for those who might follow me, or if not, go ahead and follow me. One Benny Slade Magic on Instagram. I went on this mini rant about how I don't have a problem with magic being on Instagram, but I have a problem with magicians who do it for their own selfish reasons instead of just sharing the magic with people.
It's a selfish ambition, and you know I can be even you know, and I try to control this as much as I can, but I can even be a little bit I guess boastful and just like perform, like just showing creations.
But that's the whole point.
But it's when you use magic that you did not create, that you did not add much to say, look at me.
Yeah.
Like what did you do there? What did you add to this? What did you put into magic? You know, and there's a lot of that. There's a lot of also good creativity. I don't want to knock anybody, but there's also a lot of good creativity. But there's also just a lot of, you know,
a lot of nonsense.
A lot of like you know, comment letter by letter. This, that. And you're just doing this to like, oh, it's like a Ponzi scheme. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's really interesting because for me, it was one of those things where in the beginning I watched it, and there were people who don't do Instagram magic. Or like they just had no idea about what it was. And then like a month later they would jump on it and do it. And then the way they were doing it was clearly to get themselves out there.
Right.
But the thing that I'm realizing now with things opening up very slowly again is those people who were doing the live Instagram thing, for them it was just a phase. And now they're going back to performing, you know, live again. So it's, for me, it's kind of like, it's like a metronome. It keeps going back and forth for me. Like, I think it's good because it's like a restaurant, right? If you're a restaurant magician, you can jump on it live and be like, hey, let me try this with you real quick. And
exactly.
And
the thing is, it's beautiful. The live magic game is really, you can really do some cool shit, and you can show yourself off, and you can gain a following. You really can. But at the same time, just, you know.
But yeah, and again, I
think don't just use magic, you know.
Yeah. I mean, there are people out there who were never magicians, and then COVID happened, and all of a sudden they're professional magicians who are getting TV deals magically and all this other stuff and this and that. And
I, you know, and everybody has it. Everyone has a place.
Yeah.
Everyone has a place. And I think if you can find a pocket, you can find a pocket.
Yeah. And I think the magic industry really set the tone of what Instagram magic should be.
Right. All I'm asking is just respect magic, dude. Yeah. I'm just asking people to please understand that what we do is so far beyond us and will be so far beyond us until the end of times.
Yeah.
This will never stop.
Yeah.
The thing is, long after we're dead, this will stick.
Yeah.
So
I think it'll be different though.
What we do is important. What the marks we place on magic. Think about how we think about Marlowe, how we think about Vernon, how we think about Elmsley, how we think about all these guys from the past that have made these really, really the groundwork for what magic is today. Yeah, because modern magic is amazing, and I love seeing modern magic. And it's so out there, and you just see the best of the best from modern magic. You know.
Yeah. That's one of my biggest pet peeves is that when people are doing tricks and they have no idea. They have no idea like the references or the history behind it or anything like that about.
And I think there's a space for that, and that's okay in some areas, but at the same time, you need to know the giants that we sit on, the shoulders of the giants that we sit on, because it's so important, because there's so much magic out there that all these people have already created, and that people who are creating now are using these ideas to create new things.
Yeah.
And people from the future will be creating new things from the things that we've created today.
Exactly.
It's a whole like, it blows my mind.
it's it is like a pyramid. Like if for me it's like as a storyteller who has a podcast about card magic, it's important to understand that card magic, for me, I take it very seriously to the point of where some people are like it's ridiculous, but for me it's, if you don't understand where you come from, you have no idea how to develop yourself as a person. So when you apply that to card magic and you sit there and you say, I have no idea where the double lift came from. Well, you should go find out. You need to, like a family, you need to go ask relatives, how am I related to so-and-so, and how did this start, and where do we come from, and what's my ancestry? So for me, although it's not like a DNA kind of thing, but in order for me to understand card magic, I need to know how it began, where it came from, why are playing cards so thin, why are they not thick, why is it called the Devil's Prayer Book, why is it referenced to seasons and the year and astrology and all this other stuff? Because on top of that, it also goes into creativity. There's so many routines you can go with on just the fact that there's 4 suits in the deck of cards.
Because, dude, exactly. They're literally, deck of cards is a picture book for time. Weird, very weird coincidences. Deck of cards.
I mean the ace of spades in general. I mean every ace of spades. A lot of people, I don't know if they realize it now, but at the bottom of the ace of spades, there's these numbers on there,
right?
And it tells you where it was printed and where it came from and things like that. So. It's just the small things like that. Like a lot of people don't know that, and even the queens, why are they depicted like this? What's the history on that? Did queens really look like that? You know what I'm saying? Like things like that,
And I like that, honestly.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of things you need to think about in order to create new magic, in order just to say, I'm going to make this. And as soon as you know about these routines and have this foundation, that's when you're like, oh, I can use these.
Exactly.
Or I don't want to use the word use, utilize these things in order to make new magic. And that's exactly what Marlowe and Vernon and Emily wanted.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, these are people who thought about magic all the time. And once I started to dive into that kind of world of like understanding Vernon and Bruce Servan and Larry Jennings and, Darwin Ortiz and all these guys, for me, I think about card magic all the time. And specifically,
think about this. Paul Harris. Paul Harris, dude.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is.
He said it.
Where is he?
He said it best for me. True Astonishment set the standard for creativity.
Yeah, exactly.
It set the standard for new concepts, out of the box thinking. If you have not read True Astonishments 1 through 3, you were doing yourself a disservice as a magician. Even if you don't do one thing out of those books, you will at least be like, wow.
Yeah. Well, even his, Stars of Magic that was put out, I think, by Tanning.
Oh yeah.
Which
That's where I
was
saw
very early Paul Harris, right?
Yes.
So when you watch it, he's doing stuff in there that's just like, back then you got to think like, just bizarre. Like, what are you doing?
Right.
And so when you're thinking about it, it's one of those things where it's like, okay, like here's someone who's always he understands, he knows, he gets it.
Yeah.
How do you evolve it? And that's what and that's exactly what he did. And
that's just the kind of vibe I aspire to.
It's interesting though, because like, I think to start off my whole lecture or whatever, like that I tell people is that to start off, I think you have to have a very strong foundation of the history. I don't think you can build a toolbox of routines and tricks and sleights and moves, whatever you want to call them, if you don't know the original.
Right. No, exactly. And that, so you're doing yourself a disservice by not looking for the original and not looking for these concepts that we've kind of just going on YouTube and not understanding
which is a whole nother.
Right, exactly. Like, I mean that there's a space for that. Excuse me. I don't mean to shit talk YouTube tutorials, because that's where I honestly started.
Go ahead and just
I really don't. I have no. I think YouTube tutorials are perfect and fine, because these tricks that these long dead people have made, they want these tricks to be out there. They want to have these people be inspired by these tricks. If you're dead, what are you gonna?
Yeah, I mean, yes.
That's what their plan was,
Yeah.
And that's what my plan is. I hope that I can build a catalog of things that people can do, can use, and can make money off of. So,
yes and no. I agree with you. Yes and no.
Okay. I understand that.
Only because, like, I don't think so. When you look, this goes into I don't know if I've ever explained this to you, but my whole concept of like, there's generations in Magic already, right? Mm-hmm. So you have the generation that was Vernon and Marlowe and Charlie Miller and the guys that, Larry Jennings, Bruce Irvon, which was a second generation of the first gen.
Right.
So when you sit there and you think about that, I think going from the second gen into the third gen, which would be, David Williamson and Michael Ammar and all these guys.
Right. Tamariz would be in the second generation. Right.
Because I would think he's in his 70s, late 70s.
And he's also is still alive.
yeah. I mean, he's one of a handful of people. Like Harry, a lot of people don't realize Harry Lorraine is so alive.
Harry Lane is amazing. Harry Lane's crazy.
So
he's amazing, dude.
When you think about it, though, like I just don't think that I'll get to that in a second. I was going to say Rudy Tinoco is the only one of the only people who's really passing on Harry Lorraine's legacy, like thoroughly, and not putting it up on like YouTube and that kind of thing, tutorial wise. But I think there was a generational gap, is my whole point. I think there was a generational gap of disadvantage for magicians who learn from those people and magicians who, like you and I, who can cross paths with the people who learn from them. In teaching.
Right. Exactly.
I think, you got to go out and find these people, which is exactly, what I've done, which is the old school way.
Here's an interesting question I want to pose. Do you think magic is best learned in person?
Absolutely.
Yeah, 100%. Right. 100%. Because I was doing a lot of tutoring sessions.
Yeah.
I have no idea what came of these people that I've tutored, because I tutored many people last year.
Oh, really?
Man, like at least I had at least 20 separate tutoring sessions from people who would just come to Eddie's and would want one-on-one tutoring sessions.
Me being one of them.
No, I would never charge you for a tutoring set. No, there's no way, brother. But like people would be like, my son wants this for his birthday, or like my husband wants to really learn about magic, and that would be like, go meet them at tiny fucking bubbles and hang out with them.
I mean, that's magic. Cool. Yeah.
And what's great is I can just see their reactions to learning.
Yeah.
And that's what I never really had a quote unquote mentor. I think I've never had a mentor. Right. I don't think I have. I can't really pinpoint a person who's like, let me help you through Magic. I think if I'm gonna name out one mentor, it would be Sean Dunn. I think, and because he's been with me since I was 16, and he's just like helped me out in every
a wee lad,
and he's helped me out through every bit and every moment, and like I honestly owe so much to Sean Dunn. So he's amazing. So I mean, if I'm gonna have a mentor, it's gonna be that. But
but that's really interesting though, because for me, like, because I don't because I kind of started late or whatever, but a lot of my teaching was DVDs and things like that, videos and stuff. I came before the YouTube stuff and all that other, I had VHSs and stuff, and kind of books I would read here and there. But now, like, going into it in a different perspective, being much older and going into it, I completely understand why there were these secret groups.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Like Bill Malone talks about going to these roundtables and saying like they were learning stuff that was like even now some people don't even know about. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, some secret shit. And I'll say this: I've mentored many people, like just by virtue of Eddie's.
Yeah. Which is
I mentored a lot of kids, a lot of cool kids who are really creative and have a lot of passion for Magic.
Cool cats, cool kids.
Some cool cats and some cool kids.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I just really like, I don't know, man. It feels good to help out people, and I can understand why a mentor would be so on just mentoring a kid and be like, all right, I'm going to teach you what I know.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I never necessarily had that. I just know I have the power to give that to people. And again, I'm not saying this to be
not at all.
I just know I know I do, and I'd love to help people. And
anybody
reaches out, I want to help.
Yeah, and that's I mean, pretty much what we're doing now is exactly what I'm trying to do.
Exactly.
Even though I'm still learning myself, I'm not sitting here saying I'm an expert or whatever. I'm still learning. But for me, it was.
I'm still learning
too.
I'm still learning too.
There's no environment to. I mean, obviously you have your websites, Penguin and Vanishing Ink, and all these other places, but there's no behind the scenes place for just card magicians that I know of.
Yeah, I mean,
where you can really sit there and interact and talk about things,
like a online Magic convention.
Yeah,
where you see the best card. Yeah. Like, dude. Magic conventions. If you've never been to one, once COVID is over, please go to one. Please go to Atlanta Harvest, Tricks in North Carolina, Magic Live, anything. It's such a once
even
you meet
SAM
these people,
and IBM conventions.
Exactly. SAM, IBM. I shout to IBM.
All the proud members of the IBM.
Exactly. Shout out to Ken Scott. Shout out to Ken Scott, dude. Ken Scott's
right.
Awesome.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
he's what is he? President-elect?
Steven
Bargatze is now president. Pregnant. Yes. Sorry, Ken Scott. We've decided that you're pregnant.
He's gonna be president. Jesus Christ! What the fuck is wrong with him? He's gonna be president
next year. I think it is 2021.
Next year, I'm excited for that.
Ken Scott 2021. Go vote.
Hell yes. Yes.
Yeah, so I think it is important to go to conventions. I think it is something that's my very first convention, right? I've interacted in magic shops and things like that before, but my very first convention was the Penguin convention.
The Max, dude. Yeah, and I'm so glad we did. Honestly, man.
And I didn't know you. I didn't know you then either. Yeah, I saw you walk in with your entourage of people, and I was like, "Who's this kid? Who's that guy? And who's that?" And you zipped right over to the front and you sat down, and I was like, "Damn it! I wish I was front row so I could see this up close." But I didn't. I sat in the back.
I honestly, maybe I don't know, but that was so many years ago. I really couldn't have it, but I know.
I looked the same, so there's that.
There you go. But
different glasses, but I looked the same.
When you walked into Eddie's, dude, like when you showed me some of your stuff, bro, I was like, this dude's real.
Yeah, I mean, but the biggest thing is that, like, you kind of not intentionally gave me a push, where you were like, here, after you showed me the estimation aces, you were just kind of like, go and just like play with it and come back. You unintentionally did the old school thing where it was like, let me show you this. This is a Frank Garcia thing. You might like this, and then this is whatever you did. And after that I was like, that's a Frank Garcia thing. Where can I find that? And like then it started to go for me. It's like, oh, Frank Garcia. And then I bought his whole book collection, and then I was like, there's videos of Frank Garcia. And then I got in contact with people.
Underrated, the most underrated. Frank Garcia is most underrated.
Absolutely.
The most underrated dude. People do not talk about him enough, but Frank Garcia is like the next level.
Yeah, and then I talked to people who took lessons from him and had lectures and things like that, and shared stories with me. And Frank Garcia, I relate to the most. As weird as that is to say, but I relate to Frank Garcia
I absolutely. If you, I can understand that, seeing old footage of him. You know.
Oh yeah, for sure. But so I appreciate that you've been a part of this journey for like a long time, and you continue to support me regardless of my rants and like fuck that person or whatever.
That's fine. And that's fine. That's just that Magic tea, dude. Magic's always gonna have a little bit of drama here and there. That's fine. But like yeah, man. I mean, I just appreciate you being here, you doing this, and
it's different.
It's different. It's good. I think this could be the start of something amazing, and I think Magic needs this, especially at a weird time right now.
So I will say that I'll go ahead and I'll let you
finish. And yeah, man. I mean, I don't know. I just like being a part of. I like seeing people grow, and I like seeing
which is crazy,
cool ideas grow. Yeah. And I like kind of
exactly. It's exactly what it is.
I like pushing Magic forward, because I think at the end of the day, that's what we need to do. That's all we're trying to do. At least people who have the right conception of what Magic should be and what
you're spot
what creation should be. And again, it feels good. I get a big old dopamine rush from making something, but at the same time, I know that hopefully it sticks. Hopefully people get inspired, and hopefully
but I think you're spot on there, because it's, for me, but what I'm doing it completely different though.
Right.
I'm doing it from like a very far distant, like people who are in the Discord, and just seeing people. First of all, let's talk about the Discord for a second.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting to, I'm very bold, and a lot of people are like, not a good idea, but I'm like, I don't care. I only live once.
Right.
And I've reached out to people who like, you're crazy for even sending them an invite. It won't happen. They've seen it. They know about it. So the deal is done. You know what I'm saying? Like, they know.
The thing is,
it's
also,
now in their ears.
No one should tell you you're crazy for sending a certain person an invite, because they have a certain amount of I don't want to say Magic clout, but like a name in Magic, because Magic is just a small community, and whoever we think is famous in Magic isn't necessarily famous, or just famous to us, right? Yeah. So as much as they're amazing magicians, we still don't have a huge community,
and it's not even, I could care less. Like, I could care less if the Discord just completely explodes tomorrow, or like the server breaks down, and like I could care less. You know what I'm saying? The point is that I'm getting people together. That's what's important to me, is that I'm fostering a community of people who can talk back and forth with each other about one thing they have in common, which is card magic.